What's up, guys? Welcome to the Reality Scrapyard. On the Reality After Show, I am Chad, and joining me as always is a man who, listen, if I found out, Michael, that your name was getting thrown out at Tribal Council, I'd tell you. And maybe, I would, yeah, and maybe that's chaotic, and maybe it blows up in my face, but I would tell you. Quite frankly.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, we're number ones now at this point, which means eventually one of us has to turn on the other one. It's just the nature of it. That's how Survivor works.
We're two white bearded men with glasses.
There's no way we would ever be on the same season.
That's a power duo.
One of us making it is a miracle. Both of us would be insane.
Yeah, they'd be like, wow, both of them are on?
Chad, how are you? I feel bad. We didn't get to talk last week. You were ill. I had things going on too, but
yeah, we took a week off. I picked up a virus and it ravaged my home, but no one got it worse than me. I literally was bedridden for 3 days. So I'm finally on the uptick. I still feel a little sick, but nothing was going to stop me from bringing you people, the Scrapomaniacs, an episode this week. No one would, those scrap heads, I got you. All right, listen.
I wanted to ask you about this because I had the thought this week. What are, fan bases have their names, right?
Yeah.
So what's our is it the scrapheads? I was thinking scrappers.
The scrappers Scrappers work. I was never really a big fan of Scrappy Doo.
Really?
I always thought he was kind of annoying even as a kid. And then when the live action Scooby-Doo movie came out, he was the bad guy. Not to spoil Scooby-Doo for anyone who hasn't seen it yet.
Come on.
Yeah. I know. So spoiler alert. Make sure when we edit this podcast, we have a spoiler warning for Scooby-Doo in the notes. Yeah, now, I don't want anyone coming at me that I ruined the twist of Scooby-Doo.
Chad, I gotta ask. We talked a little bit before. I mentioned I really loved last week's episode. Are you in the same boat as me? I thought it was great. I mean, I've got specific questions about the auction. We can get to that, but
Yeah, let's talk about that because I definitely was bummed that we weren't able to talk about the auction.
Yeah, we gotta talk about
last
the
week.
auction.
So we'll talk about it for a little bit. We definitely have an updated power ranking for everybody, and we won't spend too much time talking about something from 2 weeks ago. But for our journalistic integrity, I feel like we need to cover it for all our scrap heads out there.
Yeah. So I gotta say, of all the new era changes, there's one that I think I hate the least, and it's the auction. Actually, no. Here's the thing, because they have about 5 or 6 mechanics now in the auction, and I think I like each one individually, but they do them all at once. I'm like, what are we even doing here right now? It's not even it's a game of chance to see who's going to lose your vote. Basically, is what it comes down to. You're not even bidding on things you want. That doesn't tell us about anyone's personality. My Survivor was 2 ladies taking their clothes off for chocolate and peanut butter, and now it's just like people are bidding because they have to for their life in the game. It's not even. This tells me nothing about them as characters. It's just it feels game body.
I'll be honest. I can feel the complete opposite. I really like this auction format. They took it away for a long time because people kept trying to, big league it. They kept trying to big brain the auction, and Jeff kind of just said, all right, screw you guys. We're not doing it anymore. This is why we can't have nice things. And, the auction was always such a classic thing and the fact that they brought it back and they put this little twist on it, I don't mind not hiding advantages there. And I also really like the dynamic of everybody has to go into the woods to find money, because while your point that, we don't get to hear a lot of people's personalities through these bids, we do get to see a lot of people's personalities when they're looking for money and someone's roaming around the forest like a dodo bird, not being able to. Literally, dude, Andy spent the entire time just walking around the jungle being like, I can't find money anywhere, as people just kept walking by and grabbing it literally from under his nose. I thought he was kidding. I was like, how can somebody get this man some glasses? How could this man be so bad at looking? He must have gotten a nat 1 on his investigation checks, or his passive perception must be terrible. It just wasn't great. But then we get to the auction, and everybody has random intervals of money, and It was mostly all food items. I do think there is some work to be done. I don't really know what you do other than introduce advantages to make people pay for them. And that always, and so that makes you not want to do it because, you want, I think Jeff and I think Survivor just wants them to bid on the food. I think they just want to have a fun auction thing. And having the random little dice thing that tells you how many rounds they have to go, I think that's bullshit. I don't think that they roll a dice at all. I think Jeff just decides we're going to go. Yeah, I think Jeff just decides that we're just going to go till I'm done.
You know what's crazy is they have dice for shot in the dark, but they don't roll the dice. And now there's an opportunity for them to actually roll dice, and they're still not. They've got something against rolling dice. I'm going to give the opposite end of the spectrum here. I don't hate the Easter egg hunt, right? I think my problem is we're doing it again. We did it last time. Can we do a different competition? Maybe I don't know. What's the game where you slide the puck on the sand? Like something, anything else. Like I just feel like, you know. It's just not doing a lot for me. I will say the other thing is I don't think the auction was ever broken. There was one specific thing that Jeff didn't like, and like he could have done it like 100 different ways. Instead, I'm taking my cake and going home. But like
it was a bit of a power trip, I think.
I think everybody when Jeff had this excuse about why they got rid of the auction, he would talk about the advantage, and I think everybody had the same idea that they actually put in there. It's like you don't have to wait to the end to give the advantage. You don't even have to give an advantage. Just put it in the food or give no advantage. Sorry, I'm a little heated about it. We didn't get to talk about it. I'm still coping from last week, okay?
It's not a lot of pent-up aggression that you've just been waiting to sign off on. Yeah. I get it. I get it.
I won't hate on it anymore. Again, I loved last week, so what can I say?
If you really want to try to put, I don't know. I don't hate the idea of having, loved one letters as an option, next auction. Be like, all right, spend some money. Love letters. That'll get people to spend money. And if you don't have enough money to spend on it, well, boo-hoo for you. That sucks. That's some drama. And, Jeff says, and there's no sharing. And I think if you are really, more than one person can bid on this, but it's only one, but they have it. And you can't, I don't know. And maybe it's like a last item, right? Maybe Jeff is okay, so there's a couple people who've got $100 left. Somebody's sitting on or maybe it's the third or fourth. Maybe it's actually, you know what it is? Maybe it's the last actual item before they roll the dice and you get the extra rounds. Maybe Jeff says, all right, loved one letters. Everybody still has lots of money at that point. So some people are okay, here's my money. And then, but some people obviously won't because they don't have enough. And, if you can't win the loved one letters, you're not going to spend all your money. If I have 400 and you have 700 and you bet 700, I'm going to sit on 400 and be mad that I don't have my loved one letter. And then there's those extra rounds that you can spend your money on to try to force people to get that money spent so that way, I don't know. I don't hate the take on wanting steaks, but I also think you could just have regular steaks, medium rare with a Coke, and I think the contestants would love it.
Here's the other thing, and actually, honestly, we could write this down for the offseason, Chad. We need to redesign the Survivor auction. I think we could do a full episode on it because I already have a million ideas. Here's one, just this is a tester for the offseason podcast. What about if we gave other things away besides cars? Maybe there's a car. Maybe there's a PS5. Maybe you're buying a storage lot. Anything.
A storage lot. Maybe you're buying property.
Yeah. I mean, I get fun with it. I feel like, again, Jeff is stuck in this tunnel vision, and I'm being a little ridiculous in it, but there are so many different things you can do with the auction and make it fun and change it and keep it fresh and keep it fair. Sorry. Here I go again. I said I was done, and I'm not.
That's okay. You know what? I want you to feel like you get all of what's on your chest out, so that way all of the Scrapyard family can pick you up when you're down, right?
You're like my Survivor therapist, I think.
Yeah, I get it. I understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry if my hat's triggering you. I put it on just because I was having a bad hair day, and I said, what can I wear today?
It's a good hat.
I don't have long enough hair to put it in a glamorous bun like you do, so...
Hey, man.
And my hair's not really... Well, I feel like, people who have buns, man buns, their hair, grows, down. Mine grows out. I'm like a chia pet.
Hey, you know what? That's a myth. My mother told me for years, and she might actually listen to this. She said, you can't grow your hair out. It just grows out. But guess what, baby? I did it. This is so off topic. But come on,
No, I
mom.
love it.
You can grow your hair out. It might look wild, but you can do
Yeah.
it. And
Listen, yeah.
I feel like Andy. I should have gone as Andy for Halloween, but
Oh, that would have been a good one.
okay, back on topic. I do have one more question for you about last week. What did you think about Rachel's shot in the dark play? Did you have a read on that situation? I
Brilliant.
guess she kind of laid it out. She laid it out in this episode.
Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant. I was
before.
I definitely was going to talk about it this week, and now that she brought it up, we can just transition right to the episode. But yeah, I thought it was an awesome play. I think it's a good example of somebody taking a thing in the game and using it to their advantage in a new way. And I think that will not be the first time someone tries that, or the only time someone tries that moving forward. I think that's going to be
meta.
Season 50. I think anyone who's on the chopping block, they're doing it. Like.
This is like the split vote of the new era,
Yeah.
right? This is the
people
thing
are gonna
that's
have
really
to start
gonna fly.
people are gonna have to start like either having poker face emotions or overreacting to everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if I know you're shot in the darking and I'm like, oh, did they have an idol? I'm gonna go.
and
then when they play their idol, it's flushed.
Yeah, there are Survivor players that just act like that anyway. So
yeah, exactly.
It's very reactive. Okay, well, what about this episode? Any standouts? Anything you got to talk about here?
I definitely love, and I didn't think I was gonna love it at first, but I definitely love the 3-part immunity challenge.
Yes, this is cool.
And at first I was like, ugh, more group immunity challenges. Like, let's just have immunity challenges. But it was really good, and I am shocked beyond belief that Kyle is still here after losing the immunity challenge. I thought for sure he was dead man walking, but he was able to survive. And from at least what I saw from the edit, through no social gameplay of his own. It was mainly just Gabe doing the heavy lifting here. But yeah, I was shocked by that. Now Kyle just needs, what is it, 2 more immunity wins to tie the record?
I know, that's insane. He's right there.
Yeah.
I think we are in, there's like a new idea out there in Survivor, and I think it's changed a lot, especially this season. There was one conversation we had, and I would have brought this up last week, where we had predicted, or I know I did, I don't know if you agreed, I thought Sam, they were going to split them up, and I thought that they would take out Sam instead of Sierra, because he's the bigger, stronger guy. That doesn't happen. And, conventional wisdom, again, would tell you Kyle's winning all these immunities. He's the big, strong guy. He's going to go home, but he doesn't. I don't think it's I think if it's the kind of thing, if you're not looking at it, it doesn't exist, right? Like,
yeah.
When a tree falls, nobody can hear it. And
I
don't think people are worried about challenges.
Yeah. I think to Kyle's credit, I feel like he, maybe intentionally, maybe unintentionally, I feel like he just knew when to not rock the boat. I feel like, especially with how chaotic everything was to that point, like, I don't know, Mike, you and I have played enough orgs in our lifetime. These happen every now and then where somebody just drops a bomb and it's just mass chaos everywhere. I feel like at that point, he really played it well of, I'm just not going to rock the boat. Like, once Sam leaked to Soul what was happening, Kyle just kind of kept his mouth shut and just said, hey, whatever, you tell me what to do, Gabe, and I'll do it. And I think he really saved himself there, because I think if he would have, because I know he originally, when he won the immunity challenge and he was in that little group with everybody, and him and Soul were just like, Gabe and Soul were just like burping and destroying chicken and being gross. I felt like, there was a plan in progress that really didn't sound very stable. And then, he did try to Soul tried to get Sue voted out. I almost said Kyle did try to get Sue voted out, but he did not. But I think he played it really well. I think if he wins immunity next week, you should have got it when you had the chance, but who knows?
Yeah, I'll say this. I feel like so Sam was thinking the way I just described, right? The traditional, like he was in the minority. He's the bigger, stronger guy. He's like, dude, I'm on the bottom. Now he feels like, I feel like there's 2 factors here. Number 1, it's gameplay. He feels like he has to play really hard to get back on top. Number 2, he feels like it might be his last episode, so he's playing a little crazy, right? When in
Yeah,
reality, he never really needed to do any of that. I mean, I guess his name was out there at the very beginning, but it just wasn't going to stick. You saw how many other ideas were festering. I just,
yeah.
in a way, I think Sam thought that he was just done and he could do whatever. And now he's probably sitting back, I'm saying now, after the episode, he's back at camp and he's like, maybe I'm good.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of feel like Sam kind of dug his own grave here because, if he, at the very least, he really screwed Rachel. Like, because like, everyone knows now that the whole plan that came out to Sam, and all this chaos happened because of Sam. And Sam found out because of Rachel. So I don't think it's a good look for either of them. I think I've got them both pretty low on my rankings. One not as low because they have an idol. So we'll see. I don't know what that means. We'll find out momentarily. But yeah, I just don't think it was good for them. You know who I think it was great for though? Andy.
Okay, yeah, I do as well. I think Andy. I'm pretty sure I've said this every week, but he is continuing to rise for me, and
Yeah, 100%.
it's winner pick at this point for me.
Winner pick. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm willing to put my foot on the Genevieve car yet. I think I'm still driving that to the end, but I think Andy makes the final. I think he's in the final 3 at the very least.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It's crazy. He's so chaotic. But, like, even after he betrayed his tribe, Sam still went to him and said, let's do something. So that has to tell you that at least he's able to damage control and just jump back and forth so effortlessly. I think that's big.
Here's the thing about Andy, though. He's probably the biggest fan on the cast. He's just like us. He's been listening to podcasts. He's been rewatching seasons. He obsesses over the show. And one of the things that we look at is like, what are some of the greatest Final Tribal Council performances? And I think he realizes that. I think he's going into it with that idea. And I think he's setting himself up well. I think it comes down to whether or not Sam and Sierra kind of respect the gameplay. I think a lot hinges on that. But I think he can sell it really well. He knows what he needs to do. He knows what he needs to say. I think he just needs to get there. I think getting there is actually the hard part. I think he's got a really good case on his hands, and I don't want to spoil my rankings too much, and maybe we can go ahead and start diving into it a little bit. But I'm not as high on Genevieve after this week.
Yeah. My thing before we talk about the ranking is let's talk about that tribal council. What a chaotic tribal council.
Why did that even? Okay, so I actually have a theory.
Yeah.
I would say there was some interesting stuff in like the pre-tribal era, but I think for the most part they started to see that this was going to be a straightforward vote, and they cut them off and took them to tribal early because I can't remember who said it. I think it was Genevieve, but she said something like, "We didn't get a chance to talk. Like this is our time to talk now." It's like, what do you mean you didn't have a chance to talk? Like, did you have 10 minutes after the channel? Like, I guess I have no concept of what that time frame is like, but it seems like they didn't get to talk.
I took it as they had a plan in place and it was looking good for a long time. And then Rachel told Sam that it was probably going to be Soul. And with like 10 to 15 minutes before they left, Sam blew the plan up and said, let's get this together. We don't have time. That's how I interpreted it. Because at that point, yeah, if a new plan gets thrown at me 10 minutes before Tribal, to be honest, I'd probably say, nah, we don't got nearly enough time to do this. Let's just stick to the plan. We don't got nearly enough time for any of this bullshit. And if shit hit the fan live at Tribal, I gotta tell you, I would not be the guy talking to Jeff. I would not be the guy holding conversation, holding town hall with Jeff. I would be like, hang on, Jeff, and I would have been up immediately. The second I see people across from me whispering, I'm going over. I don't care.
You know who the first person to stand up was though? It was Soul.
Who?
And I think
it was Soul. I think that shows how desperate Soul was.
He was desperate, but also I think I think there is like a subconscious, like, the person that's standing up and talking is the one that I'm the most afraid of. The person that's just sitting there talking to Jeff, I don't know if that really does anything in the moment, but I think in the long term when you're building a reputation in the game and the type of game you're playing, I think it means a lot to be the person sitting in the chair.
I mean, that's a valid point because, it definitely shows... It definitely keeps the blood off your hands, and it kind of shows you that you're not. It kind of shows everybody that you're not that aggressive. But me, I'm just letting you know, Chad. If I ever make it on Survivor, Chad, the Survivor player, will not be the guy who just sits there. The entire time I was watching this episode, I looked over at my buddy Tony, and I said, "This is how Sam just leaked this whole plan." and now all this chaos is erupted. This is literally me if I got on Survivor. It would literally
Yeah.
be like, this is boring. Let's just leak this for fun and see what happens. Like,
See, I don't know if I'm like the boring. I'm probably more of how I described Sam initially, which is like very paranoid and like assuming I'm
yeah,
going home at all times. So I would be the guy standing up, not because like I need to do it, but like my anxiety would force me to like
yeah.
go erect.
I always look at
My spine.
I always gauge my patience and my comfort level. And hear me out. This is going to be a weird analogy with fantasy football. You know, every week I have, because I'm in a dynasty league with my friends. Every week I look at my team and I go, okay, so I just need to not panic. We've had a bad, like right now I'm 2 and I've got 3 wins of the year and I'm the defending champion. I'm 2 games out of the playoffs. We're surging. However, the entire year I kept saying, we just need to be patient. We just need to be calm. And then literally an hour later, I send like 6 trades and blow my team up and require people who had big games in week 1 or week 2 or week 3. And I'm like, all right, let's ride the gravy train. And then literally they don't do anything. And then I panic again. I do that. I've done it every week this year. And I just keep telling myself, stay calm. That's me on Survivor, I feel like. If I don't have someone to keep me in check and tell me stay calm, I'm freaking out every day, I think.
You're playing fantasy like Tony Vlachos, huh? You got, like,
Exactly. That's the only way I know how. I won a championship. I got the belt. Look at this. I literally have the
there's
belt.
a belt.
We have a belt. Yeah, it's the Fumbles of Dynasty Championship. It's the most illustrious belt in all of professional sports. I'll put this back up here.
We've been so off topic. We might as well continue. We've talked about long hair, but does your fantasy team do a punishment?
So our punishment is the person in last place has to pay the shipping for the belt.
Oh, okay. That's pretty easy.
It's a little boring. Everything I wanted, everyone shot down.
That's how it is. Yeah,
I wanted you had to
50,
get the
50.
champions.
Yeah.
You had to get the champions team name tattooed on your head. Like I wanted simple stuff like that, and everybody said that was too crazy.
Yeah. Whoa, whatever.
We all have hair. We all have hair.
Yeah.
Shave your head. Get the logo. Wear a hat till your hair grows back. It's easy.
Awesome.
I'm the champion, so I don't have to worry about
it. You
it.
want to get into the power rankings? Not of,
I think we've had enough. Listen, people come for the rankings, but they stay for the banter.
Yes. Okay. I think is it your turn to go first again or no?
I would love to. I actually was going to ask to go first, but I do think it is my turn. I'm picking Sam.
Okay, and I don't hate it. The reason I didn't mind going first is because I was stuck between 2 people, and that was one of them. So,
yeah, I think Sam did a little too much, and it didn't work in his favor. Everyone knows that he's the reason why the Soul Plan got leaked. Well, actually, everyone knows Rachel's the reason, but Rachel has an idol, and I think Rachel is able to socially recover from this more so than I think Sam will. That entire episode, Sam just kind of had boo-boo face, like the entire time. Even when he lost his vote, he was getting emotional walking into the journey being like, I just want to do well. I just want to. And it's just like, all right, everyone comes on Survivor wanting to do well. I get it. All right. Come on. Yeah. And then they had to I love the idea of stacking cards though. I thought that was a fun little thing. But he got his vote back and, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like he did too much. And he was already a target. His name was already thrown out there. And I think if Kyle doesn't win immunity next week, if Kyle does win immunity next week, I think it's Sam.
Let me ask you this, because I think Sam called it reverse Jenga, which makes sense. But here's my thing. I think Jenga would have been more interesting. The stacking, that's one thing. But, can you imagine, the suspense of somebody, sweat dripping off their nose with their one finger, trying...
Yeah.
I feel like that would be... Not only would it be cool, it would be cinematic. Just give us Jenga. These games are popular for a reason. We don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah. You can even call it Survivor Jenga. Who cares?
Yeah, well, yeah. Just like the Survivor hamburger. And
this is Jungle Jenga.
Yeah. Uncle Jenga. Oh, my God. Love it. Okay.
It's Jonny Fairplay, reality TV icon, Survivor Hall of Famer, and I'm talking today about Work Money. Work Money is a non-profit organization that focuses on lowering costs and raising incomes for all Americans to make American life more affordable. And American families more economically secure. They provide products, services, perks, benefits, tips, and tools to help members improve their financial lives. It's time to level up and make more money in this economy. We're talking getting rich. Now, this sweepstakes is giving away $50,000. You can use this to pay your rent, your mortgage. Imagine what you can do with all the money that you'll save. Now, this is put on by Work Money, and this site has all these sick benefits, and it's free. Go sign up right now and get more rich. Now, listen, you can change your life. Now, what would you do if you didn't have to pay your rent or mortgage for a year? Listen. Sign up right now for free. Link is available right here in the show notes. Check them out. Personally, I'd get more pinball machines. I'm Jonny Fairplay. I wouldn't lie about that. It's Work Money. More money.
I'll go next. And I feel I'm up in the air because this guy could just win immunity. And, the odds of him going home are 0. But I have Kyle next.
Yep.
I don't know that. I think he do a good job of keeping his composure through not freaking out like Sam did. Didn't do anything crazy. He just laid back and pretended like another player this week. So I think he has that mode in him. And maybe I'm still stuck on the idea that physical threats need to go. I think just the fact that it's been talked about so much, I feel like these people like Kyle, Sam to an extent, they're almost like the meat shields. You want to keep that target around for the next round. I think that's a big reason Kyle did slip by. I think that's why Genevieve wasn't too afraid. She's thinking he's going to lose again. We'll just do it then. So I don't know. I can go either way, but Kyle's next for me.
Yeah, I actually had him a spot higher on my personal list, simply because I agree with you. Nobody really seemed to really want him out, and a lot of the really savvy players seem to want him around as a meat shield, which is an effective strategy that works, and I do think if he's gone, people like Gabe and Genevieve will have to watch their backs. So you might as well have Kyle around to take the heat off of you. That being said, it just depends on, do you think he'll win out? And I don't think he'll win out.
Yeah.
I do want him to win 2 more immunities just because I like when people do historic things on Survivor. And him getting 5 immunities would be cool. Him getting 6 would be insane. Him breaking the immunity record would be crazy, and then I'd say, all right, give him the $1 million, but I don't think that's going to happen. But
how much do you factor in the edit when considering your list here?
So I try to do my best to not have my edit hat on when I watch Survivor.
Okay, that's healthy.
Yeah, simply because for me, it's like sometimes you are really able to oh, I get it. And then once I know, based on the edit, what I think is going to happen, then it's like, oh, yep, that's why, you know what I mean? It just kind of all comes together. So I try not to think about it. I try to just look at what's in front of me and move accordingly. But that's just because it helps me enjoy Survivor more. So
No, that's completely fair. I will say, maybe my favorite thing about the new era is I feel like the edit is better. I feel like we've had some really.
Yeah, I have no idea. I did not think Gabler was going to win when he won.
Yeah, exactly.
It completely floored me.
That being said, I feel like everybody this season, when you think back and you'd be like, what are the winner moments for the person? I think you could have one for each player. And Kyle, besides winning immunities, there isn't much that stands out in his game. And I feel like you can really, if you want to, and they can, edit anybody to look any way that they want. They have enough footage of people to make them look really great and have wonderful music behind them. But Kyle just hasn't had that moment, and that scares me a little bit for Kyle.
Yeah, it scares. It could be scary for Kyle, but it also just could be because his story to winning is just he wins immunities. That could just be the path we get here. He could Mike Holloway himself to the end here. He could just win out. I don't think he's going to, like I said. I don't. But I think as long as he is in good with Gabe, who I think Gabe is one of the power players of the season, I think as long as he continues to work with Gabe, I think he'll do just fine.
Okay, so I'm interested to hear what your next pick is, for reasons I won't say. Okay, I don't hate it. That's a pretty good one. But
I had Rachel. Yeah. I had Rachel actually above Sam here. But that's just because I am putting a lot of stake in her telling Sam a little too much than she was supposed to. I do think people will be untrustworthy of her even a little bit Because if nothing else, it shows if I tell Rachel something, she's going to tell Sam. And that is enough for me to not consider you one of my strong allies. I'll still work with you, for sure. I like Rachel. But I know that if Sam's here, there's no shot at me making you a real number one. If I was Rachel, what I would do when I got back to camp, I would act. I wouldn't actually feel this way, but I would act irate at Sam. I would make everyone think that I'm mad at Sam for taking what I gave him in confidence. Not even the thing I gave him in confidence. The thing that he assumed on his own without me saying anything, and then blabbed and it almost got ruined. Even though it doesn't really seem like it got ruined, everybody kind of seemed like, what are we doing here? Let's just vote Saul out and call it a day. But if I was her, that's what I would do, just so that way people keep us separate.
No,
but if she doesn't, she still has an idol. So, like, as long as she plays her idol right, she will be around for at least one more round. But I definitely think she has an uphill battle here.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna do my next pick, and based on something you said earlier, it might surprise you. I'm gonna do Gabe.
Okay.
I just feel like I feel like this season is kind of split in half, where there's the half that the names are floating out a lot, and then there's the half that are avoiding that target. And Gabe's name does keep coming up. And yes, he is a power player, but the problem is they see that too. They see him as a power player. He's going to be the big move eventually. I think even next week, I don't know if that's too early. How many people are left? What are we down to? Is it 7 now?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think
no
there's like
idea.
7 or 8. Yeah.
Okay. I guess
Look at the list. Let's look at the list in front of us.
There's 9. Okay.
Yeah, there's 9 left. I was gonna say I feel like there's 9.
I knew it had to be even because of the pairs, and then I went the wrong way. So that's how I explain that.
It's all good. It happens to the best of us. Listen,
Yeah.
it's late here. We got our Scrapyard coffee here to help us out.
Exactly.
It's so late.
Yes.
I don't know if I agree or disagree with that take. I think Gabe's name has come up a lot. He was definitely a name that people wanted to vote out this round, and those people that wanted to vote Gabe out are still here. So it's like he very well could still be a target next week. It just depends on where immunity shakes out. But I think Gabe is smart enough to detect when his name's out there, hopefully. And so we'll have to see how he maneuvers through that. But I don't hate him going there. I have Sue next.
Okay, I don't hate this either. I had Sue as well. So,
I will give Sue some credit. When Sam and Soul presented the plan of voting out Sue, everyone immediately, you could just tell they were like, no. So for me, that kind of shows that Sue has at least made some really good connections, and I think Carolyn, I think Genevieve, even Teeny, I think they're gonna try to keep Sue around and protect her, which is huge in Survivor, because obviously, as we've seen, that group is not willing to do that. In fact, Genevieve wasn't even willing to help Teeny this round. She just still did it because that's how it shook out.
yeah.
But I do think that likability is threatening, and I don't think she'll make it to the end. But I do think she at least is, in my opinion, the upper level of like the middle tier of the upper tier of like of the good players as far as like their trajectory of the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I also wonder at what point Sue transitioned from the person that they've underestimated, the older woman, to like an actual player, somebody that is winning competition, somebody who is playing like a very hard strategic game. I think that coin will flip eventually. I don't think this is the case where, in Survivor history where you just take the mom to the end and win. I think she does have a resume to present, and I'm just curious if they're going to realize that or just continue to have blinders on, because I think Sue is a really smart player.
She holds her own in every immunity challenge. She's smart. She's likable. I just don't think people realize just yet how threatening she is, but I do think it's coming. And unfortunately for Sue, when that happens, I don't know if she'll be able to do much to change that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'll go to my next player, and I think this is the downfall of the fantasy power rankings idea, because I think you're going to be really mad that I'm putting Genevieve here.
Oof.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, listen. Explain your case because she is still my winner pick.
I just don't think she needed to do anything this episode, let alone target Saul. Saul was not coming after her. I feel like that displayed a bad read on the game, and then she extended a lot of social capital to get somebody out that really wasn't that big of a threat to her. Like, I still fail to see why Genevieve wanted Saul out, just to be honest. Maybe I'm missing something there,
He
but
was going
she
after. He
played
was
this.
going after Gabe.
But Saul's not coming after her. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like I don't see how this was a good thing to play this hard this early. I mean, maybe if this was the final seven, but it's the final nine. There's a lot more game to be played, and I j- I don't see why she needed to extend the social capital.
No, I mean that's fair. The fact that she was so willing to just like burn the bridge with Teeny originally, I thought was an odd stance to take on it. I anytime like Teeny seems like a very likable person on this cast, and she seems like very much if you burn her, you cross her, she will let you know. She seems very
Mhm.
authentic, and she seems very good at rallying troops. And so I don't know if I'd want her as an enemy. And I didn't like how she was just kind of willing to just be like, sorry, moving on. And I
Yeah.
also don't really know if I agree with the fact that Soul was this huge, dangerous threat. I don't see it. I don't know. I'm not out there. Maybe I'm wrong. But he would not have been my target that I was throwing out if I had my say. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with her being this low, but I don't hate dropping her down a notch or two. But this is
Okay.
the way our scrapyard rankings work. It's a draft power
Yes.
ranking. So, uh,
It's so
well,
chaotic
well,
for
dang.
no
I guess
reason.
I'm next then.
I guess so.
I'm picking Carolyn.
Okay. Yeah. I had her next. So
Yeah,
tell
I
us about
think
it.
I think she's just playing a very safe game. She's in very well with Sue, and I think that duo is very good. I think she's very smart, and so I think, but I mean, she really hasn't, unless I'm wrong, and you're noticing something I'm not. She hasn't really shown me a move that I think is gonna really be like that could win her the game. It's still early. Maybe there's still more to go, but I just haven't seen it yet. So I guess we'll have to see. But I have her ranked right here.
We're right here. I think I feel really good about her. I mean, at this point, we're high on the list. This is no insult. I feel like she's just got a killer social game, and there's not a
Yeah,
lot of like information in the text that necessarily says that. But when you just see her interacting with people, like when they're stacking the cards, right? She's like cheering everybody on. I feel like she does have just a very infectious personality, somebody you want to be around, and I think that's a big thing in Survivor, and an underrated thing in Survivor is like just be a likable person, and I think
yeah.
she has that unlock.
Survivor has never really been able to edit and put together a winning social game. Everybody
Mm.
who wins and like their social game is like the strong point of their game. Everyone always kind of thinks as like, well, what did they really do? Like they didn't show us this,
Yeah,
and I don't know why it's so tough for them to put together a social game based edit. And maybe this is the start of that. I don't know. Um, she'd be a good
yeah.
winner, I think. I mean, like I said, like you said yourself, she's very social. So, and she seems to have a good strategic sense. I just think there are a couple players who are a little better.
Yeah, I agree. And I'll go ahead and get to the person I think's a little better. And I've been a baby Andy since day one. I'm very glad to put Andy in this spot. Again, I feel like on paper, if we're just looking at the game structure and where he stands, I don't know that it's anything extravagant, but I think that he does have the right idea for the game. I think he is willing to make moves, smart moves, not expend the social capital like Genevieve does. He's playing behind the scenes. He's doing what he needs to do. He's also making. We see it every episode. He's bonding with a new person on the beach, right? He had like the rekindling with Rachel, and I feel like he's just really good at the social game. And like, if there's anybody that like I just have faith in to like really hold their own and survive in a group of 9. I'm putting my money on Andy. I like this guy. I think they like him. I think he's smart. He's the full package.
Yeah,
And the
no,
edit is the other thing. I don't want to harp on that, but I feel like he's got a really good edit.
yeah. I mean, he's definitely gone a long way from complaining that people didn't cheer him when he cut coconuts to now he is in a very good position in this game. I was a little worried how people were going to take his flip, but the people who he flipped on still wanted to work with him. So clearly they weren't that upset about it, which is good for him. I think Andy is very smart, and I think Andy could potentially maneuver the rest of this game very well. If I were him, I would simply continue to play the middle.
Yeah.
Continue to play the middle / work with your alliance with Genevieve is what I would do.
And continue your damage control. I think that's something he's good at. He's good at roping people back in. I mean, if you do flip, I mean, just appeal to the people you need to appeal to, and he does it.
When he was talking to Rachel about it at the beginning of the episode, like when I was watching it, I was like, meh, this makes sense. This is very good. Yeah, okay. He felt like he just wanted to play his own game. Like, I get it. Like, I was like, I mean, listen, I'm still mad you turned on me, but I understand. That's a good reason.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also don't believe that it's any, threat to Rachel. I don't think Rachel sees it that way. I think Rachel has always viewed Andy as somebody that wants to work with her. And I think that, again, that goes back to episode 1, 2, where he's like really trying to buddy up to her. I think she sees that. I think she realizes that. She knows Andy wants that. And again, that's just Andy being able to read the game and make people feel that. So, all right, we're at number 1 now, right?
Well, as I say, unless my math is wrong, which I don't think it is, we are number 1. No, I don't think we did. We are number 1 on our list now, okay. and that's my girl Teeny. I mean, she has been she has consistently been the bridesmaid, but never the bride on this list. And now she is. She's number 1. Listen, she was my original winner pick before Genevieve started to catch fire. I do think there's still a path to her winning, but I do think Andy is very close to her heels.
Yeah, this was a tough one for me. Yeah. Teeny is very lucky. Teeny's name is not coming up at all. Has Teeny's name come up?
I don't think her name has came up at all. No. She's very lucky. She really benefited from the soul vote being leaked. Mm-hmm. Because she would have looked really silly if it would have been a blindside. But the fact that she was able to get wind of the plan and vote accordingly is really good for her, but it's also really good for the people who are okay with her being left out on this vote, because they don't have to show that card yet. Hopefully she's able to realize there was a plan in place and I'm not finding out about it until now, which means I was left out about it, and I found out because I wasn't supposed to. Hopefully she's able to realize that, and she's able to do a little, I don't want to say damage control, but she's able to do a little investigating to figure out why that is and move forward accordingly. But I think Teeny is very, I have a friend named Teary. She just popped into my head. I think Teeny is a very good Survivor player, and I think she's a good spot here at number 1. Andy is very close on her tail, and I think Genevieve is still, in my opinion, the most likely to win. But I think this is a pretty solid list. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with our list. I think this might be the best power ranking list in Scrapyard history.
Well, honestly, I've done a bad job of, give us next season when we start in the beginning. I'll do way better with my notes, I promise. But I have been failing to keep up. But I think we've been doing pretty good on these. I think we got a pretty good read on this game.
I think so too. I think, but even if we're wrong, I mean, whatever. That's the fun.
Yeah,
like, I'll be wrong. I'll be wrong. I'll talk about how stupid I am. I don't mind that.
Teeny getting blindsided next week is going to go crazy.
Yeah, Teeny being blindsided next week is going to make me rethink my entire strategy on these ranks. I don't know what to do here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what about how you excited for next week? Do you have any predictions?
Sue really wants to kill Andy from the
Yeah,
from the preview. She said that like
yeah.
6 times. I want to kill Andy. So I don't know what that all means. But I look for a Sue versus Andy war, and if I have to go off of who I think is gonna have the savviness to get the other one out, I this could be Sue's last episode.
It's a good point though because the is it Tuku Blue? Oh God, we're
Yeah,
working on that too, aren't we? The card names. I feel like they have a good stranglehold on the game. I mean, uh, yeah, I guess if it is a war, I'm giving my money to Andy, but it's also counting on people realizing that they are a big threat. They are the tightest three in the game.
yeah.
So, but also, I think they'd probably shoot at Gabe. So,
These last few rounds are pivotal for a lot of these people because for one, if you're somebody like if you're somebody who wants to target Kyle, you have to hope he doesn't win immunity here. But if he doesn't, that is an easy name that you could suggest that's gone, and it's going to require a lot of people to have to look inwards at what's going on. And I think people like Andy, people like Gabe, people like Genevieve Teeny, people are going to be like these players are very good. And if somebody like Sam and Rachel and even like a Sue are able to like and if they're able to get Andy back too, if they're able to realize that, like that could be very bad for them. However, that being said, I think Sue will go home next week. I think it's going to be Sue or
okay.
Kyle.
Okay. Well, I guess we will find out. Yeah, I think though that's one thing about the season and talking about it, which is a little difficult, is that it's very fluid. There's still a lot of moving parts here. Just going through, I've mentioned like 5 or 6 people that their names out there. That's why there's so like everyone's name is out there. It's getting
Yeah.
it's getting really dicey. I think a lot of different things can happen. It just matters like what like the conventional wisdom is going to be. What's the biggest threat as far as groups, talent strength? There's a lot to
Do you
consider.
think that's like the biggest strength of like the new era Survivor is they do a better job of not making it obvious who's going to win?
Probably, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I
'Cause
mean, I feel like
I'm just
every
trying to
season
think
has
about
been.
yeah. I'm trying to think about like who's won these modern Survivor seasons, and I just there I don't think there was really anyone except
Yeah,
for except for D that I was like, oh, if they get to the end, they're gonna win.
yeah, yeah. I feel like there was a back in the day, maybe circa worlds apart. There were people like Mike Holloway when you see him on the cast. Like everybody had Mike Holloway as their winner pick. Now I don't think the game works like that anymore. I don't think there is like the typical Survivor guy that's gonna win. And then yeah,
uh,
I think that's interesting.
I had another guy on that season as my winner pick who I don't think we'll ever have to see on Survivor again.
I know you're not gonna say Dan Foley or Will
No,
Sims.
no, they married Sierra Dawn Thomas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, which problematic person on this cast could it
Yeah,
be?
yeah. Which problematic person from the Dirty 30?
I
Speaking of
really
Dirty
like.
30, there's one guy on that list that I do hope plays in 50.
Oh, is it Rodney?
I hope it's Rodney. I want to see
Hell
Rodney play
yeah.
50. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And I hope he plays on his birthday, and I hope he doesn't win a reward.
Rodney is a little kooky now, though, isn't he?
I don't know. Is he?
I think you need to look at
Kooky
his
good way
Instagram.
or kooky bad way?
Kooky in a weird way. I don't know if it's bad.
Kooky in
I
a
really
weird
don't know
way.
that. I thought I saw a thing. Maybe I'm remembering this wrong, and I'm just like spreading. I realize I'm on a bigger platform now. I have to like taper what I
Yeah.
say because it could actually. But I thought he was doing some like drinking his pee or something. I don't know. I don't know. Go read on your own. He did
I
something
hope
weird.
that's wrong. I hope that's wrong. That's crazy. Listen, we are not putting that out. That is something we heard, and if it's not true, we disavow it.
I heard it in a dream, even
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, we heard it on Twitter, and nothing you see on Twitter can be trusted on any social
Yeah.
media. It's all just random nonsense at the end of the day. The only social media you should be trusting are the Scrapyard Survivor Power Rankings.
So let me ask you this: closing to the end of this podcast.
Yeah, well, I wanted to get your
There's been
take
a
on. I wanted to get your
oh,
take on Logan Paul, Mike Tyson too, or Jake Paul, Mike Tyson also. I wanted to get your pick on the fight that's today.
I don't. You know what? I don't. I'm not a boxing guy. I'm gonna. I don't
Neither am
know.
I.
I think I have time to watch it. We'll find out. But I saw some of those intro shots of Tyson, dude. He is built like he
Yeah,
is just solid. Like, I don't know. Like, I can't imagine anybody taking a punch from that guy and walking away.
I
from
don't
it.
watch
Dude, it's just
boxing. I don't watch UFC. That shit's all fake. I watch pro wrestling. The real combat sport. So, maybe they have the rematch at Mania, but if they don't, I don't really care. So,
yeah.
that's my take on it. I think, you know what? I'm going to go with the hot take and say Jake Paul knocks him out in 10 seconds. That's going to be my hot take.
That's crazy. Okay.
That's
I mean,
my
he's old as shit.
that's my take. That's my take. But I also don't really care. I looked and saw that there was like there were 7 matches on that pay-per-view card. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot of people I don't know.
You know what's funny? Because literally, I don't know. I don't know how many more fights are left. We're watching as it's on before it happens. 100% of the people that are listening to this right now will already know who have won, and we're gonna look like idiots no matter what. So, welcome to the Scrapyard, baby. We're here, and I did want to ask you real quick. Everyone's making the transition. Are you going to Blue Sky or what? Are you staying on X?
Oh, I mean, no. I'll make the official Scrapyard Blue Sky account. I don't care. Follow us on Blue Sky.
Let's go.
Keep your eyes out. That'll be coming, and we'll you can follow us there, and we'll post our episodes, and maybe we'll do some fun things there. Who knows? Maybe we won't.
That's a really
but
good
maybe
idea.
we will.
I think we cooked ourselves into something there. The Blue Sky. So
I see blue skies.
can I tell you something off topic that is just the funniest thing I've ever heard?
I think this entire podcast has been off topic. So what's one more thing?
Okay, I like that. You know what? F it. Well, we can do like
It's
a Dash
fun.
for Survivor next time. We'll just catch up as friends. But I heard that when Elon Musk goes on stage with people, he does like the jumping.
Yeah.
I heard what he's trying to do is create an X with his legs and his arms when he jumps. He's doing that X.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. He also wants to add X to the beginning of YMCA.
Wait, is that real?
So it's fun to stay at the, and then you X. And then MC. That's what he's trying to do. Yeah, that's not true.
Fair.
But
I was like, wait, do you know something I don't? Okay, well, what else, Chad?
I mean, I'm gonna go watch Deadpool and Wolverine later. That'll be fun.
Okay, yeah. Have you not seen it, or are you seeing it again?
I saw that it was streaming on Disney Plus yesterday, so I watched it for the first time yesterday. But I'm watching it with I'm watching it with the girlfriend tonight. So
pretty good, huh?
If you want my review of the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, really liked it. Thought it was good.
Really liked it. Okay.
Really liked it. I'm excited to see what happens. I think Marvel's in good hands.
Yes. Well, okay. I guess I'll say I'm not on Blue Sky. I was curious if you were gonna plug a Blue Sky. I am on X still. I don't post on there, but I'm on Instagram.
I'm barely on
Michael
Twitter.
Laurier.
I'm barely on Twitter.
I
use it to
for
get
something specific.
Yeah, I'll jump on it for like the trending page and type in what I'm looking for. I like it for that. I like experiencing things live with everybody else. But I rarely tweet anymore. Like, I don't even remember what my last tweet was.
Mine was, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But don't worry, everyone. The blue skies are coming in the horizon.
Yes. Okay.
Maybe we'll be the first, big podcast to get big on Blue Sky.
That's what I'm saying. All these annoying people on X plugging their podcasts. How many people are doing it on Blue Sky?
Exactly. We're pioneers.
Yeah. There's at least 1,000 people on that app.
Oh, and they're all gonna listen to the Scrapyard.
That's crazy.
But all right, Mike. I don't think there's anything more to talk about here. Do you think we're ready to wrap this baby up and put it to bed?
Let's do it.
All right, everybody. Well, follow at Scrapyard Podcast on Blue Sky. It should be out by the time you hear this. And engage with us. Send us a message. Let us know how we're doing. You can also find our podcast on Instagram, because I'll go ahead and make that too while we're at it. At Scrapyard on Instagram. I don't really know what we're going to post there, but we'll be there. And everyone. And of course, check us out on Spotify and anywhere podcasts are available. And check out the Reality After Show and all of our content. We have a lot of bangers on this network, a lot of talented people put together a lot of these shows. So go ahead and check us out. I think you'll like what our colleagues have to say. It's a good show. And if that's it, everyone, stay scrappy.